9 destinations, 3 fuel stops, 25 passengers, and 2,000 pounds of cargo, including 500 pounds of Swahili Bibles, all in one day. Not a normal day for us, but not too unusual for David Peterson, MAF pilot / mechanic in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. This is what I want to do when I grow up. My name is Matthew White, and I'm here to tell you about Mission Aviation Fellowship. What is Mission Aviation Fellowship? MAF was founded in 1945 by a group of World War II pilots who loved God and enjoyed flying. This group of pilots dreamed of a way they could fly missionaries into isolated places around the world. Betty Green took MAF's inaugural flight in 1946 when she was taking 2 Wycliffe Bible translators to a remote jungle in Mexico. Unfortunately, there were some issues in landing the plane, and the plane was rendered useless. Meanwhile, Nate Saint had just gotten out of the Army Air Corps. Nate got in the Air Corps in hopes to fly, but due to his sickness as a boy, he was unable to fly. Instead, although he was able to get his private license. Instead of flying, Nate became a mechanic, and he was going to go to college before going to the mission field. But again, God had another plan for him. Nate got an urgent request from the head of Christian Airmen's Missionary Fellowship to go to Mexico and fix the broken plane. Long story short, Nate went to Mexico, and after many hours and days, he was able to get the plane back in the air. This experience that made the leaders of CAMF, now MAF, realize pilots should be trained in mechanics. MAF US serves in 13 countries, and together with MAF International, we work in 34 countries. Our mission at MAF is to help transform lives while reaching across many types of barriers. For I was hungry, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in. I was naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee and hungered, and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink? And when we saw thee stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee? Or when thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of my brethren, ye have done it unto me. Matthew 25:35 through 40.
Geographical and physical barriers. MAF helps by flying the sick and injured to hospitals that would otherwise take days or weeks to get to by other means of travel. In some cases, MAF can cut a 2-week journey down to a 20-minute flight. MAF also works with many humanitarian groups and governments to help through disaster relief. educational barriers. MAF helps with educational barriers in much the same way. We send teachers to places where children don't have the privilege to go to school. Here again, we work with other groups that help with education in isolated communities. I don't know what the Lord has for me yet. I would like to play the piano and use that and go on a mission trip with my brother.
Spiritual barriers. Each country and village has their own spiritual barrier. We try to overcome these barriers with the true story of Jesus. It is always a joy when the Bible can be translated into a village's language. Here is a lady holding the Bible in her language. MAF works with many Christian organizations, including Wycliffe Bible Translators and Compassion. Often, MAF finds themselves being the link between one part of the body of Christ and another.
In the mountain kingdom of Lesotho, Western missionaries have mostly disappeared as the local church has taken root. Here, local evangelists have banded together to form a group, the Lesotho Flying Pastors. Together, these pastors are reaching the most isolated villages, bringing the good news to communities that are tucked among the peaks of the country's vast, rugged landscape. In the village of Kwebenyani, there are no roads, just trails used by the shepherds and their flocks. The primary form of transportation here is on horseback. But luckily for the flying pastors, Kwebenyani also has an airstrip. After landing, the pilot and pastors set out on foot for the clusters of homes dotting the surrounding hills.
This village in Kwebenyani is one of our most isolated airstrips that we fly to. We are deep in the middle of the mountains. There's not really any roads. Being able to spend time with these people is my favorite thing. I wish that I had every day I could do that. Just to see people smile and get excited when you come into their home and remember you. I love being able to work with the Lesotho Flying Pastors for that reason, and we just love any opportunity that we can have to continue to build those relationships in the future.
Re sebakeng sa Kwebenyana ga tla tsamaisa efangedi ga bolela ditaba tsa molemo tsa Morena Jesu. MAF bona e nkile karolo e kgolo haholo tabeng ena go thusa gore re bolele efangedi ya Modimo dibakeng tse ne di sa fihlelleng le dibakeng tse bang batho ba teng ha ba tsebe ka Morena Jesu.
As the sun sets, it's time for the main event, a screening of the Jesus film. With a small portable projector, pop-up screen, and battery-powered sound system, it's a makeshift movie theater. As lightning flashes in the nearby hills, a crowd gathers and sits, transfixed. The Jesus film has been translated into over 180 languages worldwide, including the one spoken here, Sesotho.
People never really had a chance to hear about Christ, and they really never had a chance to know who this Jesus is.
The next morning, the pastors lead a worship service in the local clinic. There's no church building here, but the flying pastors, along with the village chief, are hoping to build one soon.
Ke bona ba ntse pheto e kgolo bane hangata mo dutseng ke bona ka ba batla ho hola hobane ka ha ebile tla be le haufi le bona.
We have a site near the airstrip down there. We're gonna plant our church there. I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited about that.
I don't know what God has planned, but I could see really big things here. I could see a church here. I could see, a community beginning to worship together, and we can continue to pray that God would put someone from these villages to be a leader, to be the pastor. so that we can get up and walk out and go to another, village, continue to support this one and have this community thrive by itself. So that'd be what I'd love to see, but we'll just take it one step at a time and see what God does,
The Lesotho Flying Pastors are currently serving in a handful of communities, with plans to reach more in the future. As the pastors say their goodbyes in Kwebanyani, they know they'll be back soon to continue sharing Christ's love.
This video shows how we become a link by flying missionaries or pastors, in this case native pastors, to villages beyond the impassable mountain ranges. MAF connects missionaries, doctors, teachers to some of those who need them the most. All of us may not be called to be a missionary, but we are all called to change the ending for hurting people. I feel the Lord has called me to preach. If it is the Lord's will, I would like to have a church in my hometown and occasionally go on mission trips with my brother. Matthew 10:7 and 8 says, "And as you go, preaching, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely ye have received, freely give." By partnering with MAF, you would help overcome the spiritual and physical barriers that are keeping so many from knowing the life-changing truth of Jesus Christ. There are many ways to partner with MAF. Would you commit to pray 10 minutes a week? Evelyn Christensen said, "Although God is sovereign and can do as he chooses without the help of believers' prayers, he has chosen to operate expensively in response to them." MAF sends out a weekly newsletter via email that gives specific issue or concern to pray for each day. You can also partner with MAF financially by encouraging a missionary family with a monthly pledge. A simple email or snail mail letter to say, "I'm praying for you," can also be a great encouragement. You can find all of our missionaries and a sort of biography on each family on maf.org. You can sign up to receive prayer letters and updates about any of our families. You can have these mailed or emailed. In closing, I would like to show you one last video. Should the Lord allow, I would find great joy in flying my brother and sister to isolated countries to share the love of Jesus. Thank you for the privilege of sharing our mission with you. God bless.